with us.
So yeah, we're going to have your code and your ticker on this network, and you can't stop it from being traded.
Right.
And so there's a derivative, and then if there's liquidity bonding the prices together, so if, let's say you have Chainlink on Ethereum, and then after launch, price bounces around a while, but I bet that over time that these prices will move similarly.
Right.
I think that the Link ticker on Pulsechain is likely to move similarly to the Link ticker on Ethereum.
Right. Just because of the bridge, right?
And well, because they're bonded by the liquidity.
Right.
And then it's the same code with the same ticker. Now, do you want to pay $100 or $300 to trade it on Ethereum, or do you want to pay a penny to trade it over here? And we already know this answer because they're doing it on other networks as well.
Yeah.
People do trading on alternate networks, and then we're the one that you don't like. Your coins are already here. You don't even have to bridge over. Right. You've already got your free coins here. You can already access them by changing one setting in your MetaMask. It's awesome.
Dude, it sounds
well.
It sounds pretty awesome.
Well, that's the trick. That's the magic. Is you launch this whole network with all these new coins. How do you get those new coins to be valuable?
Right.
But by not letting anyone ever stop the trading, by having the same tickers, and by giving people a reason to back the value of the things they got free.
Right.
By rewarding them with a yield farming token. It's like a giant vampire attack, basically. It's a giant vampire attack.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another awesome day. Yay! The downtrend was over, and of course, we got a big market pump, and Pulsechain prices jumped. So it's good news for everybody. I know people love the green candles. Who doesn't? And of course, you had your opportunity on the down move to pick up more volume, and of course, now you get to gain from that. So it's kind of cool. Now we had a Dovish Federal Reserve news. We're going to look at that today. We're going to have a full coverage of the Federal Reserve in a mini form, summary form. So I hope you guys enjoy that too. And we're going to get into crypto, of course, and Pulsechain. It's going to be a lot of fun, so stay tuned. We've got a few Richard Hart updates to cover as well. So it's going to be a pretty good show, I think. Life's Beneath the Truth in the house there. Hello, how are you today? Very good. And of course, we've got we've got the golden cryptos. We're going to be covering that from Richard Hart, Hex, Pulse, and Pulsex, and Incentive Token absolutely off to a tear again, doing pretty well. We got Sandy Beach in the house. Good to see Sandy Beach. Hello from Sandy Beach. There we go. Then I'll have to come back to the other ones there. Day 20 of the Squat Challenge is above, so you can definitely follow Sandy for all that Squat Challenge for the month of March, which is pretty exciting. And who else has jumped in there? We've got a few others. So we've got Joey Torres. What's up, Joey? Good to see you. Brennan as well. Morning Superman and family. Good to see Brennan, our in-house TA guru. Absolutely doing an amazing job. We got Wookie as well. Wookie is hopping crazy. Yeah, well, for the Australians out there, hope you like the kangaroo jumping there on the thumbnail. Looks pretty cool. Superman Demand says Al Pacino. Hey, good to see you, Al, and welcome and welcome and welcome. All right, let's get into it without further ado. We're going to kick off into the stock market here. So let's bring that up. We've got a bit of a update. We're going to hear from the chair of the Federal Reserve with his speech earlier today. So that should be a lot of fun. And let me just share my screen here. Here we go. And bam. All right. Let's go. So we had the S&P 500 closes above 5,200 for the first time as the Fed leans dovish. Not hawkish, but dovish, which is kind of cool. And we've got the Dow Jones there at 1%. Can you believe it? To 39,500. Wow, that's amazing. Up 400 points. S&P 500 up 0.9%, 46 points to 5,224. Making new records. And the NASDAQ there with all the tech companies in it up 1.25%, 202 points to 16,369. Man, just keeps making new records. Look at the max. Go to the max chart there. Look at that. New records across the board. Look at that. NASDAQ, new records. S&P 500. New record. Look at that thing go. Dow Jones, new records. So amazing stuff happening there in the stock market. Now, the Fed Reserve keeps 3 cuts in view for 2024. So we're expecting 3 rate cuts in this year. Treasury yields have fallen. The Fed kept interest rates on hold and continued to see its benchmark rate falling to 4.6% next year, suggesting 3 rate cuts in 2024. So I mean, we're currently 5.25 to 5.5, so we're expecting falling to 4.6 next year. So that's about 1%, 100 basis points, suggesting 3 rate cuts in 2024. So that's good news. It would be nice to have a bit more, but so far that's where we are. Unchanged from the prior projection in December, so no change there. Ahead of the decision, many were worried that hotter inflation readings, which we had recently since the turn of the year, would force the Fed to take a rate cut off the table. The Fed, however, seemingly believes that its battle against inflation remains on track, though the central bank did lower the number of rate cuts beyond 2024. Following the decision, RBC said it continues to expect a cut in June. As economic growth will slow enough and inflation will ease enough. The unchanged rate path for 2024 pushed Treasury yield sharply lower, with the 2-year Treasury yield now trading at 4.62%, down 7.5 basis points. So that is kind of the big news today, and the market loved it. Now we're going to hear from the chair. This is about 8 minutes long, this video. This is a summary of his speech. We're not going to have the questions, of course, which follow on of the speech. One of those questions happened to be on the CBDCs, which he said that the Federal Reserve hadn't really done much progress on that. They were keeping aware of it, of course, and digital technology, but that was an interesting comment from him in the Q&A time. So let's hear from him now. Let's go.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. The economy has made considerable progress toward our dual mandate objectives. Inflation has eased substantially, while the labor market has remained strong, and that is very good news. But inflation is still too high, ongoing progress in bringing it down is not assured, and the path forward is uncertain. We are fully committed to returning inflation to our 2% goal. Restoring price stability is essential to achieve a sustainably strong labor market that benefits all. Today, the FOMC decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue to reduce our securities holdings. Our restrictive stance of monetary policy has been putting downward pressure on economic activity and inflation. As labor market tightness has eased and progress on inflation has continued, the risks to achieving our employment and inflation goals are moving into better balance. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. GDP growth in the fourth quarter of last year came in at 3.2%. For 2023 as a whole, GDP expanded 3.1%, bolstered by strong consumer demand as well as improving supply conditions. Activity in the housing sector was subdued over the past year, largely reflecting high mortgage rates. High interest rates also appear to have weighed on business fixed investment. In our summary of economic projections, committee participants generally expect GDP growth to slow from last year's pace, with a median projection of 2.1% this year and 2% over the next 2 years. Participants generally revised up their growth projections since December, reflecting the strength of incoming data, including data on labor supply. The labor market remains relatively tight, but supply and demand conditions continue to come into better balance. Over the past 3 months, payroll job gains averaged 265,000 jobs per month. The unemployment rate has edged up but remains low at 3.9%. Strong job creation has been accompanied by an increase in the supply of workers, reflecting increases in participation among individuals aged 25 to 54 years, and a continued strong pace of immigration. Nominal wage growth has been easing and job vacancies have declined. Although the jobs to workers gap has narrowed, labor demand still exceeds the supply of available workers. FOMC participants expect the rebalancing in the labor market to continue, easing upward pressure on inflation. The median unemployment rate projection in the SEP is 4.0% at the end of this year and 4.1% at the end of next year. Inflation has eased notably over the past year, but remains above our longer-run goal of 2%. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in February, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as from measures from financial markets. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation falls to 2.4% this year, 2.2% next year, and 2% in 2026. The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation. We are strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective. The committee decided at today's meeting to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5%, and to continue the process of significantly reducing our securities holdings. As labor market tightness has eased and progress on inflation has continued, the risks to achieving our employment and inflation goals are coming into better balance. We believe that our policy rate is likely at its peak for this tightening cycle, and that, if the economy evolves broadly as expected, it will likely be appropriate to begin dialing back policy restraint at some point this year. The economic outlook is uncertain, however, and we remain highly attentive to inflation risks. We are prepared to maintain the current target range for the federal funds rate for longer, if appropriate. We know that reducing policy restraint too soon or too much could result in a reversal of the progress we have seen on inflation and ultimately require even tighter policy to get inflation back to 2%. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too late or too little could unduly weaken economic activity and employment. In considering any adjustments to the target range for the federal funds rate, the committee will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. The committee does not expect it will be appropriate to reduce the target range until it has gained greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably down toward 2%. Of course, we're committed to both sides of our dual mandate, and an unexpected weakening in the labor market could also warrant a policy response. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario going forward. If the economy evolves as projected, the median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 4.6% at the end of this year, 3.9% at the end of 2025, and 3.1% at the end of 2026, still above the median longer-term funds rate. These projections are not a committee decision or plan. If the economy does not evolve as projected, the path for policy will adjust as appropriate to foster our maximum employment and price stability goals. Turning to our balance sheet, our securities holdings have declined by nearly $1.5 trillion since the committee began reducing our portfolio. At this meeting, we discussed issues related to slowing the pace of decline in our securities holdings. While we did not make any decisions today on this, the general sense of the committee is that it will be appropriate to slow the pace of runoff fairly soon, consistent with the plans we previously issued. The decision to slow the pace of runoff does not mean that our balance sheet will ultimately shrink by less than it would otherwise, but rather allows us to approach that ultimate level more gradually. In particular, slowing the pace of runoff will help ensure a smooth transition, reducing the possibility that money markets experience stress and thereby facilitating the ongoing decline in our securities holdings consistent with reaching the appropriate level of ample reserves. We remain committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keeping our longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and price stability over the long term. To conclude, we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you.
All right, so that was the meeting from the Federal Reserve. And of course, a couple of key takeaways there. 3 rate cuts expected this year, taking us from 5.5 down to 4.6 potentially by the end of the year. One of the funny things was, of course, how nice that line goes down in the federal funds rate as we move forward. So basically, bank interest rates, pretty easy modeling there. And the other one, of course, is the indicative based on the SA. Their forecast is basically up to 2 years for inflation to get down to 2%. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that actually happens, how that actually goes in the future. But the market did take it as dovish, and that's good news. So staying on track there. So looking like June. The other thing was not only interest rates, but the other major tool from the Federal Reserve is their balance sheet, and of course the impact on monetary supply. And of course they're looking at taking that a little bit slower down to their target. And of course, as you guys know, I think that they'll be much better off doing monetary expansion, probably around about 6% per year, but they're not doing that. I think that's unnecessary damage to the economy, but we'll see how they go from here. So generally good news, and the markets, of course, absolutely loved it. So let's go to the crypto market. And of course, we can see it is not just green, but dark green across the board just about. So BTC up 9%. Woo-hoo! That is pretty impressive. But the old Bitcoin there, 67,900. So basically, this almost $68,000 there, and it's just going up and up and up at the moment. So the big players are moving the market up big time. Ethereum there at 3,527, up 10.72%, leading Bitcoin in terms of percentage gains. And of course, that's up and away. Also, we've got everything's pretty much up. BNB is up 9%. We've got their Matic is up 8.6%. ADA is up 8.5%. We've got Litecoin up almost 8% there. So everything is on a tear at the moment. XRP is the laggard at the moment, 4.6%, 61 cents at the moment. That's kind of what's going on there amongst the main chains. Solana is up a whopping 12% on Solana. So doing pretty well there as well. Litecoin is, 8% there. So some pretty interesting stuff. Looking at Optimism. Optimism's also a bit of a laggard there, up 3.5% at the moment. What else is looking interesting there? And Arbitrum there is up a bit stronger, actually 7.6% to $1.75. So there we go on all the layer 1 and 2 chains. The meme coins are obviously having a tear. You can see the meme coins over here. Dodge is up a whopping 17.6% to 15 cents. And of course, you got Pepe up as well, 27.6% on Pepe at 508, doing pretty incredible. And Floki following up as well, 31% up on Floki, and almost 11% on SHIB. So meme coins obviously being a big part of the big value story. They're easy to onboard people. Those have been doing extremely well at the moment. Looking at some others there, we've got Crow is up 15% there to 14 cents. What else is looking pretty interesting there as well? So pretty good across the board. Massive pump. This is pretty exciting. And of course, let's get zoom closer into on BTC and Bitcoin at the moment. Look at this chart. Wow. So we had a low of today of 60,771. This is on Coinbase. And we had a high so far of 68,150. We're currently at the top end of that, 67,821. And look at that power move there. We bounced off 68,000, which was the support line. 68 was the support line, and 68 to 69, and it bounced off that. And of course, we had another one down the bottom there for the 50 moving average is at 59,000. So that's that yellow line. So that would have been the next natural kind of break there if we'd broken down. But we didn't. And of course, you guys know we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up, and look at that thing coming up there at the moment. Woohoo! It's getting closer and closer by the day. 27 days away. What? All right. Yeah. So obviously Bitcoin blocks the inflation on Bitcoin is going to go down by half. And of course, that's going to go down 3.25 blocks per 10 minutes, isn't it? So that's going to be pretty amazing. All right. What's that? 450 blocks, 450 Bitcoin a day, I think it's going down to. So that's pretty amazing from 900. All right. So that is Bitcoin. And of course, Ethereum at the moment also having a pretty interesting day. Ethereum at the low of the day, which it bounced off 3,057. Boy, all the way down to 3,000. That's pretty amazing. I think we're up all the way up here, up around 4,100 almost, and we came all the way back down 25%. So that was a pretty decent move down. Anyway, we bounced off there. We actually broke through the 50 moving average as well, but we've bounced back through, and we're up at the high of the day at 3,536, and currently we're just under that at the moment at 3,518. So very, very good results there for the old Ethereum. And as you guys know, if we add on the overlays, we're about a week past the Deacon upgrade, and obviously getting closer to the Bitcoin halving. Like I say, 28 days away, 27 days away. And of course, then, the Ethereum ETF approvals are 63 days away, but of course we've lowered our probability of approval from 60% down to 35%. So that's a big change. So 60% chance of approval down to, which is mine and some market analysts guess, and down to 35% from the Bloomberg analysts Stefart and Balkahunas, pretty much in that camp. We read that out yesterday, if you remember. So there, 63 days to go to that. Hopefully we'll have a surprise, but not so. We'll need more evidence that the SEC is engaging in that appropriately. So that's kind of the play at the moment. We got likely interest rate pivot. That is still the 11th of June. And as we saw, we got a bit more confidence about that from the Federal Reserve, which we just covered. So that is a lineup of macro news for crypto at the moment. Let's jump over to Pulsechain and get into that with Richard Hart first. We're going to kick it off with Richard Hart. Before we do, though, let's welcome a few other comments. Let's see here. We got Ramon and House there. Sup, family? Good to see Ramon. What else we got? Elias, despite all the fluctuations, we're still here and strong. Pulse family, says Elias. Absolutely. Absolutely. Diamond hands. Diamond hands. What's up, Superman? Evening, everybody. Check my pulse is in the house. Bob Wells as well. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Bob. Always a pleasure. And Wookie there is having a lot of fun in the chat there. How are you, Miss Beach? Yes, Sandy, how are you? Let us know, Sandy. Get your comment in the chat there. We'll bring that up. I'm glad I caught a little of the stream, says Bob. Hey, good to see you in the house. All right, let's go into it. Richard Hart, man, he's been tweeting his heart out. Everything's about the heart there with Richard Hart. Don't click links in responses. They're imposters and scams. He puts this up every day. Obviously, he doesn't want to be targeted, and you get targeted. Did you know that DAI from Ethereum is marked official on, of course, the scan there, Block Explorer, and has a star next to it, a star, I guess he's saying, a star next to it in search. It's really smart to make sure you have the right contract address for stuff, of course. We always focus on that too. So that is kind of cool. There is a DAI. What else we got there? Bam. And DAI stable from Ethereum. How about that? There we go. So that's a little thing from Richard there. What else did he say about that? In PulseX, you see that little copy icon. That's the little one there. Of course, guess what clicking it does? It copies the address of the token. Nice one there. That is from Richard. So that's pretty cool. We also saw some more stuff here from Richard. Was it about the bridge? I think it was. No, about Ethereum. I really like Ethereum. I think the price can go higher, and that it's the most likely coin in the world to get USD ETF next. Yeah, it's probably just a matter of when. Obviously, that 23rd of May date is questionable, down to 35% now, but it may happen towards the end of the year or something like that. So it's just probably a matter of when at this stage. I appreciate the work they do technically as well, and love when Pulsechain inherits it. Obviously, Pulsechain is a full system state fork of Ethereum, so we get all the upgrades. And of course, looking forward to the Deacon one. Love it as I do. I also want to share news. The Ethereum Foundation removed their warrant canary. Fortune published an article today about ETH being targeted by the SEC. This is what we call FUD. Bitcoin mining was partly banned in New York and fully in China. Bitcoin price did fine with that. Some people think that the legacy finance guys get the administrative state friends to FUD down the price so legacy can get a better entry. I have no opinion on that matter. Man, how much FUD Bitcoin has eaten over the years. Think of all the people that sold the bankers their Bitcoin. Ain't that the truth? Before all the highs, not financial advice, of course. Past performance is no guarantee of future. Posted a few there about the comment there around the Ethereum there. The Ethereum Foundation has never been contacted by any agency. Obviously, that's been around on the media at the moment. So some interesting stuff happening there. What else we get from that? I think that's it from Richard there. We've got one other update. We're going to talk about Richard's update later on when we get to PulseX. Kind of cool. Let's all look at the market results for day 313. Pulse there at 000123 up 10.5% at 23% above the mean sacrifice price. Pulsex at the moment, quadruple 0548 up 10.9%, so it's just slightly higher. And of course, that is at 55% of the mean sacrifice price. So still got a lot of work to do there. We did touch the mean sacrifice price about a week ago with the big $15 million pump there. But we're back down at the moment quite dramatically. So 759.3 billion Pulsex has been bought up and burned, gone forever. That's 3.72% of the public supply. So that's good news. Keeps ticking away regardless of everything else that's going on. Incentive token at the moment up 20.4%. So it's the beastie boy. And of course, $6.62. But the ratio is really driving that 53,682. So you're getting the price up and you're also getting the ratio up. So you're getting these big percentages gains here. And of course, Richard's talked about that being the big draw card for people to come over and provide liquidity and get great returns. They're currently at the moment 26,932,000 incentive tokens is in existence. Of course, they're emitted from the V1 farms. So we've covered that yesterday as well. PX at the moment 1.32 cents up 5.66%. So Hex still the laggard, still lagging behind here. EHEX at the moment at 2,700 from a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PX is 1.59 cents. So we have not yet seen that 3 cent breakaway. Maybe on the fourth attempt. I think it's 4. We'll check the chart later on, but it's we're waiting for that final breakout for Hex. And then I'm sure it's going to be up and away from there. All right, so let's jump over to the actual pulse charts. We can see we're doing pretty well here. We bounced off 1100, which is a very important place to bounce off. I think we can all agree. So 1000, of course, is the next one, and that would have been fundamental to hold that. Looks like we've done that so far. The RSI was getting oversold, not quite fully oversold, but was getting down there. It was due for a bounce. So we have got a lot of room from the RSI to move up for a big rally if we can maintain this momentum to the upside. Pulsex, of course, is currently at 5,500, and we bounced off 4,900, and we just pierced below that pretty key support line, that 5,000 line, but managed to bounce back from there. So there we go. And of course, we've got the RSI down at 44, which is pretty cool. So there we go. Let's jump over to the update for Richard Hart. Of course, there was a pretty decent update there for Pulsex. So the V1.0.6 version release is out, and it had many updates, fixes input currency reset, etc. Fixes price impact calculation. So it's lots of cool things there. Optimizes the auto router. It's improves the handling of multi-core failures. So that's really important. So it's got lots of the cool updates there. So fantastic news from Richard around that. So hopefully we'll get a better experience, particularly during very high volatile and fast-moving markets. We saw that when $15 million went out, a lot of the dexes failed to be able to route and execute in time. Includes Petius as well. And of course, Petius has I think just recently done some upgrades to theirs as well. So always trying to improve to get better results there at the moment. All right, so that's kind of cool. And of course, good news there. So the incentive token though is at $6.62, and where are we at to on that one? $6.62. The ratio. Let's look at the ratio. Ratio at the moment is sitting around 53,666. Has been as high as 54,700 today, looking really good. And you guys know the local high back here, 55,700. So the uptrend looks pretty still intact there, looking good. Up 20%, nice mad gains there. But for those of you in the Pulsex farms, you'll be loving this. You'll be loving that chart. That chart is bringing you lots of good tidings. Let's say that. So a big shout out. All right, we got PHEX there at 1.3 cents. Obviously bouncing off 1.2 cents there. RSI similarly pretty oversold almost. 41, or at least pretty low, 41. And we've got plenty of room for an uptrend if we can maintain this, especially off the back of a very bullish move for Bitcoin and Ethereum to the upside. So hopefully we'll hold that, consolidate, start moving up rather than, pinging back up and down. So hopefully we should have the news for the upside. So let's see how we go. EHEX there at the moment is at 2,600 for a penny, just kind of chilling sideways. We're up about 3-4% there. And let's go to the log chart for that. That's kind of where we are on the pulse. And the combined price of EHEX and PX. Let's go check it out on investex.io. Thought I'd set this up, but I hadn't. So let's check this out. And we'll go full chart mode. Can we do daily? I think we can. Let's do daily on here. and see how many times we've tried to get over 3 cents, or we've been denied for various reasons. 1, 2, I guess 3, maybe 4 times. Let's just take these ones there. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's hope that on the 4th time we make it, where we actually cover that past that 3 cents, and we're up to the races. Once it goes, it's going to go. It's going to be fun times. All right, let's jump over to the gas prices. No, validators. Actually, let's go to validators. We're at 49,159 validators on Pulsechain. 1.57 trillion is off the market at the moment. And of course, let's go to the gas prices. 220,000 beats or gwei on the gas. 1 cent for a PulseX transfer. 600th of a penny for a Pulsecoin transfer. And 2/10 of a penny for a PRC20 transfer. So super cheap on Pulsechain. And of course, we've got this new dashboard, which is pretty cool. We're 5,300 times cheaper than Ethereum. 41 gwei on Ethereum at the moment. And 5,000 times cheaper than Bitcoin. $2.87 to send Bitcoin at the moment. Pretty cool, right? So good news right there. You got the Pulsechain Ethereum comparison for sending different types of transfers and things like that. And look, Pulsechain is pretty much dead cheap compared to Ethereum. And of course, selling an NFT, $86 for selling an NFT, 2 cents on Pulsechain. So that's pretty cool there at the moment. So nice one. What's a swap? Let's see here. We got StakeX, a swap, $51, 1 cent on Pulsechain. So tell all your friends, bring in the Pulsechain, folks. That's as simple as that. All right, so let's jump over to the bridge. You guys just know this is kind of like the health heartbeat check here. 136.3 million bridge to Pulsechain, so still holding okay. Obviously, we had that high of 180, and of course, Hex was way up at that time. So it was over 1 cent, wasn't it? So let's see how we go with that. The PDI looking like it's holding pretty decent, around 46 million. Not too bad at all. ETH is taking number 2 spot with the price pump of ETH. USDC sitting at 23.7 and USDC 17 there. Those are the bridged in versions, right? USDL 18.5 million and PXDC 14 million. There's been a flippening. There's been a flippening in the USD PXDC again. It's reflipped back the other way. What the fudge is going on here with these liquidity forks? But that is what's happening there. Coast sitting at 4 million. And you guys know we got some nice news around Coast. Pretty cool. So good news there. That leads us into that's pretty much at the highlights there on that one. So we've just finished day 313. We're going to be starting day 314 on the old Pulsechain. Now I'm just going to bring up something because there's a couple of things I was going to bring up that I forgot to bring up. So let's do that. All right. All right, so let's bring that up. And we've got a couple other comments in the chat have we first before we go to that. Says Sandy Beach says, did you miss actually, we've got someone else in the chat first. Let's go back to that first. Check my pulse. We'll get up to there. We got up to that. Susie Q says, hi, amazing Superman family. Lots of hugs and kisses from Susie Q. Big shout out. Welcome. And appreciate all that. Did you mention Pulse launch? Yeah, well, we had some news about Pulse launch. We covered the launch. And of course, at least we covered the token launch, right? It's still up to 3 months away before the actual Pulse launch launches, which is up to 3 months. Anyway, so they had ended up, liquidity got rugged, pulled yesterday by the team after they found an issue. So with the DAI that was used. So let's read out this is a quick little update here. Dear Pulsechain launch community, in our commitment to transparency and fairness, we must share a significant finding during our review of the token generator event and launch of the launch token airdrop. Discrepancy arose due to the limitations of Pulsechain's current block explorer capabilities, leading us to rely on DBank for transaction data. Unfortunately, the data incorrectly identified PDI transactions as EDI, affecting the accuracy of our current airdrop distribution. Key points of the issue: misidentification of 5 transactions amounting to a total of 635,000 PDI, equivalent to $1,500, were misclassified as EDI in the CSV from DBank. Resulting error: these transactions erroneously received 635K worth of launch tokens due to the misclassification. Detection: this error went unnoticed until after the deployment was completed, so it was trading away there. And of course, people were getting the launch tokens and staking it. They had the early 3-day bonus for points, and if you send it to a certain address, that you'd get more points pretty much, and you'd be, once they do launch, you get those tokens back and all that sort of stuff. So And that's kind of where they are there. They've got the transaction evidence for that. Resolution, understand the potential risk these transactions pose to our project and community. And after exploring all possible solutions, we've concluded that the only course of action is to withdraw liquidity and issue a remint. So that is the actions that they have done and will take, issue a remint. This decision, although difficult, is made with the long-term integrity and success of our community in mind. Next steps, we will take a snapshot of the blockchain immediately before liquidity withdrawal. The 5 affected addresses will be excluded from the new token distribution. Liquidity will be reinstated at the last price, ensuring the market conditions remain unchanged for all community members. We're working on direct querying the blockchain to accurately capture all information, further bolstered by setting up our validated and RPC nodes for uninterrupted access there. Looking ahead, this unforeseen challenge compels us to reissue the tokens, a step we take with the utmost respect for our values and community's trust. The corrected token supply and market cap will position us stronger, more aligned with our vision. We deeply appreciate your understanding and continued support as we navigate this situation. Our dedication to creating a fair and transparent platform remains unwavering. The Pulse launch team there. So that was from them earlier, was it 18 hours ago? So that was the play there. I think we may have had a bit more from there. Let's see here. Change Pulsechain launch tokens allocated to the wallet who sent PDI. Never even sold the allocation. Yes, there was a mistake and it was resolved. But there is no $600,000 extraction. So it looks like the money is protected there. So you'll just have to wait for Pulse launch if you are involved in that project. There we go. So that was kind of an update there. Hopefully that helps, Sandy Beach. If you haven't seen it already. Clinton's in the house there. G'day, crew. Good to see you, Clinton's. Welcome to the chat as well. Who else has jumped in here? Put your green thumb on the like button. Yeah, definitely do that. And Matten says in here, howdy everybody, and the Superman. And what else we got? They've got 2 Supermans in there. Thank you, Hex Token. You're welcome, Sandy. Tomba says launch people are really stupid to count PDI as the ETH day. Best of luck to everyone who trusts money with them, says Tomboss. So we're waiting for a remount. Yes, looks like that is the action that they're going to be taking. Just wait for them to give you new updates. Is the way to go. I also heard that launch had some SAC wallets paid out earlier, which sounds shady at best. It's chance. Yeah, what I heard and what you see. So if you don't have any links, Tomboss, you really need to have links. It's X platform is a place of rumors. There's rumors and evidence. So once again, I'll just take the official links as so far as they are, and wait for them to relaunch. That's all you can do, really, isn't it? There's all sorts of people going to be out there. If they've got good evidence, it's something. But if they just got some pretty baseless stuff, it's another story. So I think that is it on that. There's something else I was going to talk about that happened overnight. I just can't remember what it was. I was supposed to bring that up. So that happened. Was that it? No. All right, let's jump over to some of the other stuff that's happening on some of the leads. So let's pull that up as well. So here are some of the Pulsechain projects. As you guys know, I've been meaning to finish this off, but I haven't yet. But in any case, we've got Earn Token up 25%. ZKZX is up 24% there, so some nice movers there as well at the moment. Bean Token up 15% from Barista, doing pretty well. However, Magic Cart Ride is down 7.5% there. That's kind of the play. Derivatives. Let's have a look at some of the derivatives. Icosa up 13% and Hedron up 8% on Pulsechain. Influencer coins, Axis Alive, man, after that massive pump the other day, pretty nicely there, but down 1% today, but still at 31,700, which is pretty amazing. On smaller liquidity, but still, 461k there at the moment, but price got pumped major. What else there? We got Paul Pleb up 10%, no token from Randy Olasky, up 8.6%, more token from Trayvon, up 16 points, almost 16.8%. That's a pretty good move there. And Ben Armstrong V1 is up 11.6%. And I really must get to finish off all these lists. That's just the way it goes. Stablecoins have been pretty interesting. We got P-Day back up 3200th of a penny, up 32%, and USDC is up 30% there and 26% on USD Tether. So that narrative for these is still climbing, still pushing these up. And of course, even though there's a lot of critics out of there for the maker theory, and of course PDI, USDC, USD Tether getting put up to $1 and Rich Art, etc. It is still moving in that direction, which is pretty hilarious. At the moment, we've got USDL sitting at 99 cents, a PXDC at 99 cents almost, and that had some crazy stuff the other day. Got really punched down, some really flash crashes on that. but it is holding up pretty well. And Coast, of course, is up at 98 cents. So the stable coins looking pretty stable. Now, I haven't got the Bridgeton ones on there. I'm going to add those in. So just wait for that. That's kind of it at the moment. There's lots of coins I haven't got on here. Sorry about that. I must get that done. I'll try and do it today rather than mucking around there as well. So that's pretty much it on that one. Now, something else I was going to talk about. I just cannot remember what it was. But that was pretty cool today that happened. What else there? We got John Neeson House there. What's up, everybody? Good to see you, John. Better late than never, I guess, says John. Indeed. This is true. All right. Now, if you haven't joined our Discord, the link's in the video description. $5 a month, pretty good value, and you get access to all the information and an amazing community that helps each other. And we also have a crypto helpline in there. It's pretty cool. And we talk strategies and lots of other still cool things and projects on Pulsechain. So definitely join up today. If you want to go for that next level, we got Strategy Club. That's multi-chain. We're looking for good opportunities on there. We have great discussions there, so check that out as well. All right. I think that's it on that one. Let's see if we got the Hex. Let's see if Hex is out. Just checking the data here first before we go to talk about it. No, we got yesterday's numbers out, so we might as well briefly talk about that. There we go. So we've got Hex here on Pulsechain. This is not today's data. We're expecting day 1570, but we've got day 1569, which we didn't cover the other day. So it looks like we got 6.999 Hex per T-share on the old Ethereum chain and 7.088 the day before that. So that's pretty cool, 7.1. So obviously we had some really good payments there on the old Ethereum chain. Pretty cool. How's the T-shares going? Or T-shares at the moment, 9,332,000 T-shares. Remember the all-time high was around about 11.2 million. So we're definitely coming down. And of course, after that volatility last week, we've come down a lot from there. That's kind of it at the moment. We're sort of, we've calmed down with all the wallets moving, stuff like that from the volatility. And the penalties have been fairly modest since we had all those really volatile days. Look, we had that billion day of penalties, crazy, right? 144 million, 105 million. They were some crazy times. And of course, as Robbie Davidson says, I've got T-shares on both chains, and I agree with that one. On the Pulsechain side, we still haven't got day 1570, but we've got the day that we haven't covered. We had 7 Hex per T-share there on day 1569, which would have been day 311 on Pulsechain. No, 312. Sorry, my bad. 312 on Pulsechain would have been that one. And let's see what else we have happen there. T-shares, 9,579,000. So man, it's been a real separation between Pulsechain and Hex. Of course, not surprising after Richard's post a week ago. But there we go. There's a big separation now. What's that? About 250,000 T-shares, almost 240,000. Something like that. So big changes there. Code is immutable on the blockchain, so this keeps ticking away. We got quite a few penalties. Not the same as Ethereum, of course, but we had quite a decent amount of penalties over the last on Pulsechain. And here we are, 67 million we got in yesterday. So that's not too bad, or the day before, depending on how you can describe it. We've had quite a few holder growths there on the Pulsechain. We have been shedding a few holders there. Maybe some of those. Maybe some people that were, rage quitting and stuff like that. So there's a possibility. That is it at the moment. So we haven't got the results out for today, but they'll probably come out in the next 20 minutes or so. So definitely check out hex.com, of course. You can buy Hex and get T-shares on Pulsechain. That would be the preference. And then, of course, you can also buy Hex and do potentialist mining on Ethereum as well, either short-term or long-term, depending on what your appetite is for fees over there. So that is kind of it on the old Pulsechain and Hex. If you want to join up to the Strategy Club today or just our general Pulsechain Hex Discord, use Wookie's link there. Way to go. Yeah, $35 per month for the Strategy Club. John Nice says, I would guess most Mexicans are buying Hex dips. Most Mexicans? You mean Hexicans? I think you mean Hexicans. Hexicans there, yeah. I'm sure Mexicans love dips and Hex. They know our good value when they can get it. My bad, says John, yeah. All right, pretty cool. That is pretty much it. Now, I had something else to talk about. I just can't remember. I bet I'll remember after the live stream because I was going to talk about that, but I never did. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's content. Yesterday, we did some really good coverage of the Bitcoin market with a lot of those news with Ethereum. Today, we really focused on the Federal Reserve and how that's fueled the pump today. And boy, what a pump it is in the old crypto. Isn't that crazy? The crazy pump in Bitcoin today. Really amazing stuff. And let's have a look at it one more time before we wrap up here on 45 minutes. It might be a short show, but it's an important one. And look at that. In fact, that is pretty badass. Look at that stuff. Yeah. What does it look like when I go there? It doesn't work. So let me go back to this view. But look at that. 60, almost 9%, almost 68,000 again on Bitcoin. 3,500 on Ethereum. Looking incredible. The meme coins are absolutely on a tear at the moment. You can see that. Pretty amazing stuff there. Big time. All right. I think we're going to leave it there. 45 minutes. Sometimes we have a long show, 1 hour and 15. Sometimes we have a short show, 45. And of course, today's a 45. But man, what is a bullish 45-minute stream is better than a bearish one at 1 hour and 15, isn't it? Is that the way it goes? All right. Take care, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. And don't forget, let's not forget what's going to happen in the future. And that is, you guys know what's going to happen. You guys know. Let me play. I'm going to find it out here. It's going to happen. It's happened. I'm just looking for something. Hold your horses. We're going to have the Magic Cup ride, of course. That's going to be a lot of fun. Take care, everybody, and enjoy yourself. And a big shout out to Randy Lasky, just dropped in there. Big hashtag note token and a $10 super sticker. Appreciate that. And a flying Superman. Not too bad at all. All right. Take care. And I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Big shout out. And I'm sure Randy might have a live stream today. So maybe you can go check that out too. All right. Bye for now.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.